What's up guys, I'm Frullani here and welcome back to a new video. What do I talk about today? Well, first of all, Merry Christmas. And second, I bought a new lens. But before telling you which lens, I'm gonna tell you everything from the beginning. How and why I decided to get this lens. So, I do mainly fashion works, but I shoot also products and other stuff. I enjoy doing also street photography sometimes. And I do both photos and videos. For what concerns videos, I think I'm fully covered because I have a 16 to 35 millimeters that I use on all my cameras. It's just awesome to do any kind of video work for my YouTube channels. Like I have two channels now. One, the main one in English, and I opened another one in Spanish, even though my Spanish sucks. But alright. With the 16 to 35 millimeters, I do establishing shots, the speaking parts in both outside and indoors in my studio, and sometimes I have fun shooting photos with it, especially for street photography. Then I have a 35 millimeters f1.8 RF. It's the one shooting right now. It's just awesome. It's by no means an expensive lens, but I mean, it's quality. Great. It's also great in low light conditions. Then I have a 50 millimeters that I use for B-rolls and sometimes portraits, but not always. I recently got an 85 millimeters RF f2 and it's pretty good. That's another one lens that is not really expensive, not at all. It's very budget friendly and does the job. It's great for portraits and also B-rolls. So I wanted to get something mainly for photos to shoot better portraits, because let's see, the 35 millimeters, yeah, there are many people shooting portraits with that focal length, but I don't like it, not for portraits, because 35 millimeters distorts the image, the features of the subject quite a lot, and it's not really flattering in my opinion, even though with a lens like 35 millimeters f1.8 you can get some decent, some pretty good shallow depth of field and good separation between the subject and the background. I don't like that focal length for portraits. Same goes for the 50 millimeters, even though it's reasonably decent for portraits. But I prefer something with more compression, more quality, but at the same time more compression. So that's the reason why I got the 85 millimeters in first place, and I'm really happy with it. But I wanted something better, so I was considering the 85 millimeters f1.2 or the 7200 f2.8, both the RF and the EF version, the F with the adapter. But in the end, I decided a different one. Let's see, I got the 135 millimeters, the Canon 135 millimeters. Well, I'm gonna show you the very first photos I shot with it when I bought it, like right away. I put it on my camera, on my Canon R6, and I shot some photos. Well, since I was in the street, walking around in the center of Madrid, I shot some street photography. And I was even able to shoot some wildlife. Yeah, I know, it's just a pigeon. What do you expect? I'm in a city. But I was able to shoot also some fashion style photos. Alright, so what do you think about it? Leave a comment down below, hit the like button and subscribe if you aren't already, and check the links in the description to see all my gear, my stuff, my things, my gear. And check the link to Epidemic Sound if you want 1 month of awesome music and great sound effects for free. You get 1 month for free. So I just wanted to show you these samples, but I'm gonna shoot more. I'm gonna use this lens so much, and I'm gonna show you the photos, the results I get from it. This was just a little test, because you know, I just got the lens, I bought it, and I was in the street there going back home, and I decided to shoot some photos. This Canon 135mm is not the RF 1.8 version, but rather the older 135mm f2. Alright, so I told you, I explained to you why I decided to get a 135mm to shoot portraits, but why not the 50mm f1.2? Because as I told you, I don't like shooting portraits with something under 85mm. 85mm is good, then why didn't I get the 85mm f1.2? Well, because of compression. I wanted to get something that gives me more compression. And even though the 85mm is great, I already have the f2 version. With the f1.2, I could get more shallow depth of field. But it's not important how blurry is the background, but also the quality of the bokeh and the separation between the subject and the background and the compression of the background. So that's why I wanted something more telephoto with more compression. So why not the 7200, since it's very versatile? Well, that's probably it. What do I mean? Sounds crazy, right? Yeah, a little bit, but it's not. It's just that the 7200 on one side is true, that it gives me the possibility to shoot at 70 and up until 200. But I was thinking, I don't need 70, I'm not going to use it. I barely use the 50mm for photos, for my portraits. I would use it like at 85mm, but they're uncovered. I already have an 85mm f2. So then it's true, I could use it at 200mm. That'd be awesome for the compression and everything. But problem is the distance. What do I mean? The distance between the camera and me, myself, and the model. Already at 85 or 135mm, you have to stay a little bit far away from the subject. 200, you have to be so far away, and it would be a problem like to communicate, you know, because I like to communicate, to give directions, to stay in touch, like eye contact and everything with my models. So that's why I decided to get a 135mm. Yeah, not to mention the price, that the 7200, the RF version, cost about 3,000 bucks, maybe less now, but still the 135mm, the EF version costs like 1,000 new. Why the older one, the EF version f2, and not the new one RF f1.8 with stabilization? Okay, here's the thing. What would I get with the RF that I can't get with the EF version? Let's say the aperture f1.8 instead of f2. I don't really think it's a big difference at all. Then stabilization. I was a little afraid before trying this lens, the EF version, because unlike the new one that has image stabilization, this one doesn't. And I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube about this lens, and there was one YouTuber in particular. He bought this lens, the EF version, then he decided to return it and get a refund because of the lack of stabilization. According to him, it was almost impossible to get good photos with a subject like completely in focus because of the lack of stabilization. And yeah, that scared me. So I wasn't sure whether I was gonna get this lens or not, but I gave it a shot, and well, the Canon R6 has in-body stabilization, IBIS. Apparently, it works fantastically, so that I don't really need any extra stabilization. Also because I don't think I'm gonna use it for video, or if I will, just gonna put it on a tripod. But for photos, it's just gonna be great. I mean, it's great, right? The quality of the image. I'm sure the RF version is great, and maybe its quality is better than this EF 135mm f2. Maybe, yeah. Given that it is, in my opinion, the quality of the older lens, the one I got, it's just incredible. There was a YouTuber, Peter McKinnon, said that this older version was a great lens, yes, but for what concerns chromatic aberrations, it was a nightmare. Honestly, I didn't notice. In my opinion, it's just fantastic. In the meantime, here weather's changing and the light changes, so it was getting overexposed. Final thing, the price. The new one, 135mm f1.8, cost about $2,000. I mean, at least here in Europe, 2,000 euros, something like that. And the EF version, $1,000 new. I would like to underline that the price is not what made me decide to get the older version, because as I said, I could have got the 7200 or the new version of this lens or the 85mm f1.2. Yes, but the problem is not how much money we spend, but rather if it's really worth it for our needs. We have to make sure that what we buy is something that we really need and not something that we buy just because it's trendy or just because it's awesome. I could buy a 200mm, for example, that it's just incredible, but I don't need it. Or I could buy a 15 to 35mm to substitute my 16 to 35mm, but I'm not gonna do that because that's not something I really need, not at all. So again, I got this 135mm EF f2 because it suits my needs for photos, portraits, street photography. Alright, now I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, smash the like button right now and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'm gonna see you guys very soon in my next video. Oh, Merry Christmas.